Hello and welcome to the Total Soccer Show Cooligans crossover episode, part 1. My name is Daryl Grove. I am joined by Taylor Rockwell.
Hello.
And his slightly gravelly voice.
Slightly is an understatement, I think.
You won't be hearing too much from Taylor Rockwell today, right? We're trying to protect those vocal cords.
Theoretically.
And also the Cooligans, Christian Polanco. Hello.
Hello.
And Alexis Guerreros. Hello.
Hey.
Indeed. So we're all here in Chicago. The convention is over.
Yeah.
We've checked out of the hotel, but we're still secretly in the hotel.
We're ours, yeah, and we're in like a grand hall. This is the grandest of places we've ever recorded.
It's a ballroom. It's my first ballroom podcast.
This is a ballroom, but you might hear a little bit of an echo, right?
There also might be like a little hiss.
A little.
I'm also kind of tripped out because occasionally the panels poke out in the wall.
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe it's closing in on us slowly.
Yeah, it's almost like it wasn't designed for a soccer podcast.
No, but this is the size of studio that Christian and I request every time. So this is beautiful.
But I think we're
you got to fit your ego in somewhere, huh?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, my fat ass. Wait, you can't say that on yours, right?
I think
Cooligans.
We talk about your fat ass all the time.
we're at the point the tour in itself. Now that it's over, I mean not the tour. I'm talking the convention. Now that it's over, I feel like we're in this. This is going to be a loopy podcast. It's going to be very. We're all in a very weird place psychologically.
Yeah, you might want to believe that Taylor lost his voice because of partying. No, we've just been having to talk to that many people, do that many podcasts, have that many conversations, a little bit of partying in there. But definitely it's just, I mean, I've talked to so many people to the point where I'm like, I don't need to talk to a human being for another week and a half. I'm good.
Well, you're trapped in here with the
Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk to you guys.
The doors won't open until this is over. Here's how it's going to go down.
Alexis doesn't acknowledge you as people. You know?
Nah, you're homie.
Here's how this is going to go down. We put a call out a couple of days ago for on Twitter for questions for the crossover episode. We are going to work our way down those questions. Part 1 is going to be on the Total Soccer Show. Part 2 is going to be on the Cooligans. So if you want part 2, you got to go subscribe to the Cooligans.
That's right.
Or just listen but don't subscribe. Either way, it's fine.
Or just Venmo us a bunch of money as well.
Yeah. Those are your 3 options. So choose wisely.
Are you ready for us to get started?
I am ready.
Let's get it.
First question comes from Brochar, who I assume is Jim Brochar. It's not really a question. It's just 2 words. Beard game. So I guess my question is, how do we interpret that?
Okay. So beard. I don't have a beard. So I can't even play in this game.
All right.
I'm going to say,
Christian's out first, right?
My answer to this is Christian, Daryl, Alexis, Taylor. That is my answer to beard game.
I see.
Yeah, it's in reverse,
That's
though.
by length.
Yes.
Yeah, that's in reverse.
Exactly.
Taylor... Taylor
Wait, what
takes
body
the
part are
crown
we talking
there.
about? Because I think it'd be different.
That's a good point. I've never once trimmed down there, so I think I win. And if you're wondering, I just push it all to the right. It's really not that difficult.
How about who takes the most care of their beard?
Okay, then.
Still Taylor. I think
it has to be Taylor, right?
Oh, but okay, here's the thing. In some ways, it could be Christian because I assume, take care of it every morning. You get rid of whatever's coming.
No, there's nothing
Well, that's
comes.
the thing. Yeah, no, he doesn't have the
He's one
ability
of those
to.
annoying people that doesn't have to worry about that stuff.
It's
Yeah.
infertile ground.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. It's like trying to, plant in England. It's just not going to happen. It's mostly,
a lot of produce.
it's mostly rocks.
I can't believe that was the issue. That was the one that got you. He's dropped so many insults about England, and the one that gets you is agricultural production.
The one that's really incorrect.
The other ones have a little bit of stereotype in them. That one was just a shot for no reason.
Agriculturally incorrect.
Yeah, I grow very few hairs that I've I always say I've named them. They're
Well, you don't grow a lot because you say hairs.
hairs, yeah.
Yeah, if it's a lot, it's
and
just hair.
it's not a thing I have to work. Maybe once a week I'll just
Yeah.
trim up a
goodbye to
little
them.
bit, but it's nothing.
Say goodbye to your friend.
Taylor, do you want to get into details of your beard? Or should
Yeah,
we go on
what
to
is
the
your
next question?
routine? I'm curious.
Do we really want to go this route?
It's
No,
oiled.
I'm giving you the choice.
It's oiled, right?
It is oil. There's some beard oil. There's some beard balm in there.
Yeah.
And then trimming up the lines. That's a technique I learned in Turkey.
I forgot that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
Just so your
pretty
cheeks
good
don't
at
get
that one.
crazy.
Yeah, cheeks and neck.
Yeah.
Neck, you got to keep that one cleaned up. But the beard oil helps because I know my wife had some friends say their boyfriend's beards smell bad because you got to wash it out and put the stuff in, and then it doesn't smell so bad. I go rosemary.
Oh, I shampoo mine
Rosemary's
every
my
day.
favorite.
Do you really?
Yeah, 100%.
Doesn't that dry it out?
I'm a really greasy guy, so
No, I've never heard a more true statement ever said.
Do you condition as well?
no, I don't. Because if
Okay.
I did, I would be even greasier. If I laid my head off the couch, I'd slide off of it.
And to finish this up so we can move on, I go electric razor Every time it gets too long and I've forgotten, I electric razor it. But soon I'll be using Dollar Shave Club by going to dollarshaveclub.com/TSS to get a starter set for $5.
Making that money.
I actually use Dollar Shave Club for the razor that I use once a month. You know,
You really are the Dollar Shave Club.
They keep sending you the resupply
Yeah.
and you keep sending it back. So it's not,
I'm like, no, wait,
it's
this
not time.
is too many.
Next year. Next year.
The account manager is like, there's some 12-year-old who keeps ordering one razor.
I think he's trying to impress his girlfriend.
Yeah. I think he's just practicing.
Our friends at Dollar Shave Club also have bath and tooth products.
Yep, shower
I say
products
tooth for
and-
your benefit, Daryl.
Thank you. All right, next question is from Michael Majid.
Hey.
Michael Majid of Inside the 18. He was next door
Also,
to me.
guys, get his album. He has a wonderful rap reggae album coming out in a few weeks.
Here's his question. Michael says, or asks, why should you wear gloves when playing in goal during a four-side convention centre filled with beer, asking for a friend? Let's not make this an inside joke. Let's let people know what happened.
Exactly. So we, Alexis and I were calling this tournament. This was for the United States Adult Soccer Association, and they held a 4-on-4 tournament at the convention.
A lot of action on field one.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of action.
Also, there was a lot of action on field, too.
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Not as much, but a lot.
At about an hour in, that's all I said for 20 minutes.
But we were calling these games, and
by the way, when we say calling, we were just mentioning what games were going to be on what field and then roasting everyone there.
which is if you bring the Cooligans to do that, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Michael Majid joined one of the teams as
It's
one
like a
of
free agent team.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Stragglers team.
He's a goalkeeper and an intense goalkeeper, but did not bring.
He was a crowd favourite.
Didn't
Yeah,
bring
he-
his goalkeeper gloves though.
Didn't need him.
Didn't need him.
Because he was like, hey, I'm going to stop that shot that's 7 foot wide of the goal. I don't care if I break my thumb.
And
It's
there
for
were
the cameras, right?
It was a pretty small goal and a big field, and there were some ballers there that were cracking the ball very, very hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know actually don't know how his wrist is, but he hurt his wrist, and his wrist was pretty swollen. So that's exactly what happened. So yes, the answer is just wear gloves all the time when you're going to play. All right, this is
Or maybe only go 110% instead of 4,000% is another option.
Yeah.
That is one option. But Mike
Yeah.
Madgen only has 2 gears. It's either 1,000% or modest Yahoo.
I did want to ask y'all, though, when you were doing that, were there things that you were told to say or not to say? Because it did feel like every 10 minutes you were reminding people that like they should be aware that the balls can hit them in the face. Because there was the people were sat right behind the goals, lots of like balls flying into the crowd,
Yeah,
where there was a lot of beer.
ducking.
They didn't tell us much, and that was sometimes that can be a little frustrating. But we've hosted tournaments before. But this was we said that stuff because we were just genuinely concerned. There were a couple. There were kids, and the people were hitting the
Not
ball.
on my watch.
Yeah,
There was
I mean,
one girl, I think I thought I was like, get off the gram, because one girl was just looking at her phone, and the ball pings off the stand next to her. I'm like, yeah, look up. You're at a soccer tournament.
exactly.
Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
It's from Dan at DanSports2. Oh, not a question, but a request. Everyone, please trade accents for a few minutes. I wasn't going to ask this one, but then Wolfram Goatfish says cosign, all caps.
Well, I don't know why we would do that.
I feel like I just want to grab Daryl's accent, you know.
I don't think
Whenever
there
you're
is
ready, let me know.
I don't think there is a Taylor accent.
I think you just say that I'm a 10-year-old boy trapped in there. Is I think what you refer to my voice as.
I mean,
it doesn't really work today though.
You have the beard.
Yeah, that's it.
You have
Taylor's
the voice
accent
of
is
this.
I can do this.
Yeah.
My beard is great.
I can do Taylor.
My beard is so good.
It's just like a slightly lazier Christian Bale Batman is all it is. It's like if you weren't so motivated, it's just a little bit
This
of
is
that.
the first time in
I'm going to
history
get you.
of this podcast that your voice is bass, though. This is you have the face of the divorced dad. Of the kid whose voice. Wait, you have the face of the divorced dad.
Work
Of
it
the
out.
voice
Work
you
it
have.
out. You're almost there. You can
It
do
made
it.
sense. You have the voice of a child.
It was weird. Who was it? Somebody was talking to us about you guys. Who was it that said like that they were? Whenever they meet you guys, this has been interesting because you guys do not meet your fans. You guys sit on the bell tower. You know,
Yeah.
Ivory Tower. is what
Ivory
you're looking for.
you know, you know what I mean?
TSS Tower.
We just sit up there correcting people.
Yeah, we're not snipers, Christian.
It's molded by condescension.
deep. You drown in that condescension.
So when people meet you, they're genuinely surprised by what you look like. You know, because you're hideous. but
that's how you end up in the bell tower to begin with.
But your voices, they feel like your voices don't match what you look like.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing that comes up from time to time.
You looking for a reaction there, or you?
No. I just want.
What did you all think the first time you met us? Like, in terms of, did it match or no?
You know, this is how I genuinely
You
feel.
used to be, we're also the most handsomest podcast. And then you took that out after you met us, right?
Exactly, yeah. We were like, oh, we've been defeated.
Because we're extra hideous.
I feel this way about American soccer in general, where people who are working soccer and media, I'm always like, you know what? Everybody's tall. Just everybody's tall. Well, people listening. If you have not met your favorite soccer person, just realize they're so much taller than you.
Yeah,
and
whatever you think they look like, add a knee.
Add a knee.
They're taller than you imagine.
You mean from foot to knee?
No, I meant like add like a thigh and a knee. Oh, okay. They're taller than you think.
See, I would agree with you about media people, but then I would say the opposite was true for me when it comes to players.
Yeah.
Because so many players are so, like, svelte, and, like, because you got to be light on your feet, you got to be fast. And so, like, I remember meeting, like, the one that blew me away was the first time, like, I'm not met. I, like, got to ask Gennaro Gattuso one question, and he's, like, this tall.
Sure.
Listeners can't see that. I'm gesturing to, like, my, like, waist. Like, he's real short, and so you expect them to be, like, 7 feet tall, all of them, because they're these, like, giants on the field, and that's how football players are, that's how basketball players are. Soccer players a little bit less so.
Defenders are genetically evolved to bite your ankles.
There's that too.
Defenders are generally taller, but when you meet like a striker who you just picked, they're larger than life.
Yeah,
and even if you know they're small, they just seem big. And then when you get them, they're so petite.
Yeah.
It's not just the height; it's the petiteness of it.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, what waist size are you? 4? That's not you shouldn't be allowed. Those men are gonna hurt you.
I blame the big televisions. We think players are gigantic because we've got like 50-inch screens now.
The screen's too big. It's not the players are small. It's the device is too big. So what if there's a poor kid who only watches on their phone? They're like, oh my God, David V is like a monster. I thought you were an ant.
Like 5 inches.
Gee, I thought I was going to squash it with my foot. How did we get here from the accent question?
Sure.
No one tried my accent.
I haven't. Okay. My guy! I think you don't know about pizza. It's the most important thing. Let's definitely talk about pizza.
You sound like a British dude who did cocaine.
See, I actually think I'm in a position where I can kind of do yours now because I've got the scratchy. So I feel like it's just like, yo, this pizza is trash.
Oh my God!
Wow, who was that?
Yo, I think my voice jumped. I do love that you need phlegm in your throat to do my accent. That was impressive.
I got the content part right there. Yeah. Hey, this is Daryl jumping in to tell you about today's sponsor, Hims, the new wellness brand for men. Today we're talking about Hims hair loss treatments, and we're going to do it using, you guessed it, a soccer metaphor. So, say you start losing your hair, which is not a rare thing for men, and you know it's happening, you can see it thinning out. Well, I think that's like when a team notices, oh, we're short on strikers suddenly. Say Harry Kane is injured and Son Heung-min is about to go and score all the goals in the Asian Cup. Suddenly, you could say, you're starting to look thin up top. So the solution is either A, you just play with your thin squad and maybe Fernando Llorente scores, or B, you go out and get some reinforcements. Do something about it. Obviously, you don't want to overpay for the solution. But unlike in the transfer market, the men's wellness market has some high-quality options for lower than expected prices. And if you go with Hims, you can get connected to a real doctor who prescribes medical-grade solutions to help you keep your hair. You don't have to physically visit the doctor. It's all done online and then shipped to your door. Best of all, there's no fax machine involved, and Man City can't outbid you. There's no transfer window for Hims hair loss treatment, but there is a special offer. You can get a trial month of Hims for $5 today while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds of dollars if you went to the doctor or pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/total soccer. That's 4hims.com/total soccer. And third time lucky, 4hims.com/total soccer for a trial month for $5. The link will be in the show notes. Okay, back to the questions. Okay, next question, again, is not a question. It's from Dave Hageman, says, Goldfinches is an awesome nickname for hashtag Crew96. This isn't really a question so much as it's a statement of fact.
Are we getting any questions?
Hashtag up the finches. I guess we'll just leave that one there. Royce the Voice, if Daryl Grove and Taylor Rockwell turned to the gully side, what would be their weapon of choice?
Well, I think, I mean, what has been established so far on this show, it's like the biting sarcasm, comedic timing works very well. So I feel like that would be it. That's what I would go with, is just sort of disarming via jokes. Because I feel like y'all are both very good at that.
What does gully even mean?
Gully would have to be something.
Join Gully Squad and we'll tell you. How's that sound?
It would just keeping it 100, keeping it real. A little bit of toughness.
Not giving a Cooligans.
Yeah, just a little.
Save me the edit.
A little bit of a bit of toughness, and that it definitely comes very much from a very New York, survival of the fittest mentality, and that's kind of it sort of came from the fact that we were talking about doing a soccer podcast with the same intensity of surviving, in 80s Bronx, and how dangerous it was. So that's where the irony came from it, but it's something that, kind of stuck.
All right, I'm going to change my answer to
I like
machete. Machete.
You go with machete.
Yeah.
Yo, that's Wild Gully.
Gully is hell, dog.
I'm just constantly sharpening while we record. That's my weapon of choice.
Yo, how'd you even get that in the building?
I think I would bring a Britishness to it, and I'll go cricket bat.
There you go.
Like that Shaun of the Dead. But for non-zombies, just for people
or
who insult me.
or the incompetent Spinal Tap manager. Either one.
I will say a cricket bat. The sport, very boring, very confusing. I don't know what a wicket is. I also don't want to know what a wicket is. But the bat, that's gully as hell. That thing's flat.
But the bat, it also feels very much like a spanking tool. You know, like so it can be used for.
Yeah, we like to multitask.
Yeah, a couple different
We'll
things.
learn a little bit more.
While we're waiting for all the food to grow.
Jesus. Hey, look at this piece of reclaimed wood. Christian's like, I don't know. I feel like I could get spanked with that. All right, Christian. Jesus. We're getting out of this restoration hardware. You're ruining everything.
Christian, you got an eye on the time. How are we doing here in terms of part one? Is it time for the end of part one?
No,
or
we
time
have
for another
a
question?
couple more minutes. We have about probably like 6-7 more minutes.
Okay, let's go with another gully question then. It's from Benjamin. Benjamin asks, how do the young Americans, Weah, Pulisic, Sargent, etc., rank on the gullometer?
Ooh, the gullometer.
Oh, the gullometer, yeah.
No, the gullometer.
Gullometer.
I'm going to
Weah, Pulisic, and
Sargent.
Sargent.
And some guy called ETC.
Okay.
You made me think about it for a second. That's the worst part.
I was also bad. I thought that was the Twitter handle.
I'll say this. I actually think, not on the list, top of the gullometer as far as young Americans is actually Weston McKennie. Because that dude is a beast.
You know
He's
what?
too smiley though, surely.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's the thing. Like, he smiles in your face, but when you get on the field, he takes you out.
Yeah.
That's gully as
And
hell.
he's also the one, we've talked about this before, whenever they're doing like training games and stuff like that, he's the one that they're doing slaps and stuff like that. He's the one who's enforcing those rules. Like if you like drop the ball when you're juggling, he's the one who's flicking you in the ear. I feel like he's the one who's gonna like enforce the rules, be a little bit in your face.
Has to be Christian Pulisic because
Really?
This was one he's gonna get crazy paid, and that's pretty gully.
The most gully thing you could do is get crazy paid. You get the biggest bag, you're just the gulliest by far.
by default.
Yeah, there could be 6 dudes with machetes. You're like, I don't know, man. He got the most money though.
But no, I was most impressed by Christian Pulisic after in the middle of the U.S. men's national team coaching saga and not knowing who the permanent coach was going to be. And
we call that period 2018.
It was dark days.
Yeah.
But no, he kind of threw U.S. soccer under the bus and suggested, that there was no plan in place and he didn't know what they were going to do from game to game. Kind of just, our boy Dave Sarachan, he was just like, I don't know what he's doing. I'm like, this is making no sense to me. But that kind of honesty, very gully. So
That is very gully.
He gets my vote.
But I'm going to say it's actually, if out of that 3, it's Sargent. Because you got that hair and you're like, I don't care, I'm doing the fro anyway, and just put that ginge fro in everyone's face. That's gully as hell. Because nobody wants to see that.
I'm going to go contrary and everything, and I would say Timothy Weah. Because if you're going from like Paris, the city of lights, it's all fancy, you're eating pastries and croissants and whatnot. Now you're going to Glasgow. Like that's a different vibe.
That's gully as hell.
It's colder weather, colder climate, maybe less forgiving.
They eat
so I feel
pasties
like
instead of pastries.
Exactly. He's going to have to maybe elevate that toughness a little bit. Not that he doesn't have it already,
his
but I feel
palate.
like, yeah.
He's going to come back gully.
I mean, isn't there like the,
He's getting gullified.
Yeah, he's getting gullified.
isn't that where the Glasgow smile comes from? I feel
Glasgow
like
kiss.
Glasgow kiss. There it is. So I
it's
feel
what
like
Begbie gives you.
yeah. So I feel like he'll that'll toughen him up a little bit.
Scotland is,
not that he'll get that. But
Scotland
you know what I mean.
is gully camp.
Yeah, it's a gully boot camp.
Boot
for
camp,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, his dad is the president of Liberia, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So you know that's gully because there's bodies. You gotta have bodies to be the president of Liberia.
Wow, what a
You
claim.
bodyguards?
Yeah, sure.
Did you
Yes.
see? Did you see the thing where Adam Hurrey?
Yes, Daryl.
I got a set of legal dribble right there.
Daryl, did you see the thing where Adam Hurrey? He
Football
like
cliches?
yeah. So like I guess George Weah came out like publicly and said like, "Yo, I love Celtic. I played against them." And Adam Hurrey like broke it down and went through like every game and like categorically proved that there's no way that George Weah ever played at Celtic. So then there was like this whole speculation as to like, was he just making it up? Was the president of a country making that up, or was he misremembering that they played Rangers? So it's up in the air. But I did enjoy that George Weah tried to get behind his son.
Well, could you
going to
imagine?
Celtic.
Could you imagine Barron Trump goes to Celtic? His dad would be like, "I built a wall in Glasgow, so I know everything about it."
And apparently, the New York Times reported President Weah played for Celtic. Just straight up reported.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, boy.
Shots fired at the New York Times.
Yeah. I love how we take all your integrity away of this show when we get on.
All right, Christian, our timekeeper. Are we ready for the end of part one?
You want to do yeah, or we can do one short one.
Okay, one short one comes from
You're very
Eric,
concerned about time.
Eric O'Rourke. I'm trying to be respectful
also-
of the ballroom that we're stealing.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Eric O'Rourke says, for those of us who didn't go to Chicago, how many different podcasters were on Pod Row? Can we explain Podcast Row first?
Sure.
While
Can
we all
someone explain
mentally
it to
calculate
me?
that question.
I want to say 7, 8. They couldn't.
Feels about that.
I think it was 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you weren't there, the United Soccer Coaches Convention, it's in the Chicago Convention Center, and for the first time ever, it was their one big new innovation,
Yep.
right? They had a row of podcasts, similar to like a media row or radio row type thing that other sports do. Loads of podcasts lined up, and it was great because like you could get people passing by, you could grab them as guests. Like you guys got a certain ex-US midfielder.
Oh no, we've already teased that Jermaine Jones is on the episode.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't want to promote it more.
Oh, okay. I know, and I did, which is why I said it.
But also, we all got to kind of hang out right in the same row.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, CR6MFC was on Podcast Row, which I guess for them didn't work out too well because they're an actual radio. But the rest of them, he's like, "Oh, that's cool. You guys hit upload, awesome." But for the we all got to sort of. It's very rare that all of us get to communicate. There was a couple podcasts there I've never heard of, but no.
There
But
was
we all
one
got
show that they, as an insult, they put them right next to the bathrooms.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The Cooligans.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, we were right next
We
to.
really got Cooligan there. I'll tell you that.
Yes, we were right by the bathroom, by our people.
Yeah.
Do you think that played into your table being constantly stolen?
No, people were constantly putting coffee cups on
You know
the
how many
table.
coffee stains we had to clean off our table?
Oh, I thought you guys were just getting hyper-caffeinated.
No, we were just using it as like a trash bin. And
Or
just-
like a workstation. I had to put signs everywhere like, this ain't a seat. This is a podcast that shows up. We just didn't want to leave our equipment.
Please,
there.
I know we're just two comedians in
Yeah.
this place, but please respect us a little bit.
I walked past and saw a sign that said, "This is not a workstation."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, that's great. I've seen these guys."
Yeah, I was
Yeah, no, even when we're there.
Right, I'm going to make the executive decision to.
We'll
to
add on
wrap
that burn.
this,
That's good.
Yeah, and say this is the end of part one. If you want to hear part two, where we answer even more listener questions in more or less the same format, go and subscribe to the Cooligans. Find it in your podcast player and listen to part two.